Do you want your transitions for church to sound like this?
Big ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Or like this?
Ending. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In this video, I'm gonna go over how I make transitions for church and how I get them to sound really smooth and everything else like that. But first, I have to make some coffee because I haven't had any today, so let's go do that right now. I feel like these coffee montages can get kind of boring, especially when you do them all the time. But I drink coffee a lot because I enjoy it and the whole process and everything else. Hopefully they're not getting boring. I'm trying to keep them like new. Let me know if you like these. Back to the coffee montage. Like my coffee mug, it's my current favorite, but that'll probably change next week. Anyway, today I'm gonna talk about 3 things that I do to make transitions really tight and smooth within Ableton for like church sets or any live set that I'm really playing, that I'm in charge of making these transitions and everything else. Tip number 1 is going to be use arrangement view. In Ableton you can use arrangement view or session view. And arrangement view allows you a little more flexibility doing this, and it just makes it possible to actually make transitions tight and everything else. So I'm here in Ableton right here. So this is arrangement view, and this is a session view, which is the grid. So with the grid, it's great, but you have to fire everything manually, and it just can be a little cumbersome when you're trying to make transitions tight or edit things on the fly. So I use arrangement view, and you'll notice with this I have, here's the first track right here, and down here, here's the second track. And there's a little bit of bleed over from each track, and that's intentional because what I want is I want the second track to start during the end of the first track. So kind of, if you look up here, here's the count in for the second track, and this guy, the first track is still playing. And I'll play you that transition to kind of let you hear what that sounds like in context.
Big ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So as that count in for the second song is going, you're still celebrating for the first song. And that kind of leads me to my second point, which is use crossfades or fades. And they are different, and I'll kind of explain the difference between each one. So this first guy right here, I'm using fades. And basically what a fade does is it fades the track. So example would be like this acoustic guitar is kind of like chugging along right here. And if I drag this fade over, it kind of gets it to stop, so that it just doesn't sound like an abrupt like ending when you fire the next song and when that track ultimately ends. Crossfades work the same way, they just blend 2 different clips. So for this, I had to actually chop up a big instrumental section of the song and throw it in the beginning, because the beginning of the original track actually starts somber and pretty like low, and I wanted the energy to stay up, so I just took a big instrumental and put it there. But with that, I had to use crossfades, and you'll kind of notice that there's an X right here, and basically what that does is that crossfades the clips together. Crazy, right? Again, not super hard. And you'll notice that all these fades are a little bit different. They're not like uniform or anything else. And that kind of leads me into my third and final tip, which is use your ears and honestly be a musician about doing this stuff. You're not just taking tracks and like chopping them up and slapping them together. You have to like blend them much like you would guitar parts or drum parts or whatever you're doing, because this is as much of an instrument as those things. So you have to like listen, make sure that chord progressions are complete before you're chopping them up, or making sure chords don't conflict when you're adding different sections in and stuff like that. So yeah, just be a musician. So to kind of go over the 3 tips again, I know it's short, but if you do these 3 things, it's gonna make it so much easier for you to make tight transitions within Ableton for your church and everything else. First tip is going to be use arrangement view, not session view, to allow yourself to have that crossover and stuff like that. Tip number 2 is going to be use crossfades and fades to kind of blend everything nicely so it has a nice transition and it doesn't feel choppy or anything else. And the 3rd tip is going to be a musician about it. Listen to it. If it doesn't sound good, kind of play with things until it does sound good, because there's no set way to do it. Every track is going to be different. Every set's going to be different depending on the songs and what keys you're flowing in and out of. So you kind of have to ultimately use your judgment and your ears to get the result that you want. Hope that helped. If it did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And with that, I'm going to call the video right here. So thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and hit the like button too. That'll help me out. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.